to talk about managing political conflict. Julie.
I guess I don't need to stand behind the mic because I have to put it on. Okay, hold on. I'm the first one. Now none of you will think this is a mistake. I got a green light. Can you hear me? Yep? Kind of? No, you still can't hear me. There we go.
Yep.
Now I can hear a little bit. Okay, good? Okay, I have a loud voice too, so I can talk a little louder. I'm so excited to be here. You were supposed to do that slide, apparently. There we all are. Okay, so here's my presentation. Beyond Civility, How Conflict Can Strengthen Our Communities. I'm so happy to be here. What do you think of when you think of conflict? Do you think of destruction? Do you think of conflict destroying everything in its path? What if I told you that conflict is actually just energy? That we could look at it in a different way? Conflict is a part of life. It's where tension and possibility meet. Like land meeting the sea or light meeting the dark, it can shape something new. The question is not if we will face conflict, but how we will face it. My very favorite time of day is when the sun is rising or the sun is setting. In Arizona, we have the most gorgeous skies. Dusk or dawn, that tension between the night and the day makes for the most beautiful skies. This is how I like to look at conflict. That conflict is just an opportunity for beauty. What if we viewed those we disagree with as an opportunity for beauty, for growth, for learning, and for connection? I'm a mom of 7 kids. I ran a small tree care business with my husband, and I volunteered in my kids' schools and church community for the past 3 decades. That was my life. I was asked to run for the city council in 2019, and I actually thought that sounded horrible. I started watching the council meetings, though, and I realized that there was not a mom on the city council, and that we only had 1 woman out of 7. And I realized very quickly that my voice was not represented on that city council. And so I ran and I was elected in 2020. And then I ran again and won my 2nd term just last year with 66, woo, here comes the tears. Okay, sorry, I should have warned you. With 66% of the vote. Yeah. It's been an amazing experience, and also the hardest thing I've ever done other than raising all of my children. I have been able to bring my strengths and my talents to my service. I started the #BasicKindness campaign because I truly believe in the power of kindness. I'm known for bringing cinnamon rolls to meetings and for bringing cinnamon rolls to you before I would ever yell at you. It's my secret trick. Mesa is the 35th largest city in the nation with over 520,000 people. It was recently voted the best run city in the state of Arizona by Wallet Hub, and also the number 9 best big city to live in the country by US News and World Report. Mesa's doing really great, and I'm so proud of the work that we've been doing. But, as you all know, you can't make everyone happy. We have to make really hard decisions about complex issues, which brings us to today. Dun dun dun. At the beginning of this year, a national organization decided to try to get me recalled. Not because of anything illegal or corrupt that I have done, but because I made the difficult choice last fall to endorse candidates not of my own party, national candidates not of my own party. Of course, the lies and discrimination, disinformation and discrimination were rampant. They especially leaned into our non-discrimination ordinance that we passed 4 years ago, which balances the rights of the LGBTQ community and religious freedom rights. It has been used as a model ordinance in several other cities, and I'm very proud of it. And in the 4 years since it was passed, there has never been a single incident, not even one, no citations. But fear works. And in Arizona, as in the majority of city and town council races, we run and serve in nonpartisan races. When you call 911, drive on the roads, turn on your water, have your trash picked up, no one asks if you're Republican or Democrat, and I love that we get to serve in nonpartisan positions. I have tried to be a voice for all 85,000 of my constituents that are in my district, and I do not want partisan politics influencing our city councils. Well, on November 4th, just 2 weeks ago, we had our special recall election, and I lost by 762 votes. The hundreds of thousands of dollars spent were just too much to combat the lies and the disinformation, the hundreds of signs put up across my district, flying people in all over the country to knock doors for a city council race was successful. And I am devastated that I was robbed of 3 more years of serving a community that I have poured my heart into. Going through this experience, and frankly the last 5 years, serving on our city council has been incredibly painful. But it has also given me ample opportunity to practice what I preach. We talk about being civil discourse. What does this even mean? Civility is formal politeness and courtesy in behavior or speech. That sounds good, right? We would be thrilled if everyone could just be civil to each other. I could give you a bunch of skills and tips and tricks on how to deal with conflict, how we disagree better, and those things are actually really important because it does take practice. It's like learning a new language. But for today, for right now, I'm going to get radical. Arthur Brooks is a Harvard professor and author. He spoke at a conference that I attended in September that was just down the road an hour at Utah Valley University, just 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He said, if I told you that Esther, my wife, and I were civil to each other, you would say that we need counseling. If I told you that my employees at my company are tolerant of me, you'd say I have a major human resource crisis on my hands. And that's because those are low standards for a great country. Is there something better that we could aim for than civility? I say that there is, and here it is. Is that what you were expecting? Are you rolling your eyes at me? I hope no one walks out right now. It's love. And I want to suggest that in our current political climate, we have to do something different than what we're doing. We have to stop the us versus them.
Got that right.
We have to stop seeing people as our enemies or evil just because we disagree. And both sides do this. Arthur Brooks said, both sides are making an error. Both sides believe that they love and the other side hates. But I want you to remember something. Those people, those neighbors of yours, those relatives of yours, they're not stupid or evil. They're simply Americans who don't agree with you on politics. And if you want to persuade them, which should be your goal, guess what? Nobody has ever been persuaded with insults. Nobody has ever been hated into agreement. You have one tool that will work, and it's love. And I want to make sure that you know that I understand that not all disagreements about policy and positions are just that. Sometimes those disagreements hurt people that we love, and they're causing harm to people that we love. It feels much worse than just a disagreement. However, seeing the individual or that group as the enemy is still not how we address this. The late Michael Gerson, a conservative speechwriter and commentator, said that our political system is designed for vigorous disagreement. It is not designed for irreconcilable contempt. Such contempt loosens the ties of citizenship and undermines the idea of patriotism. How can we love our country, asked Ronald Reagan, and not love our countrymen? So what could this look like? One of my biggest antagonists through my recall was a man that I go to church with. He would come to our city council meetings and publicly berate me. He got over 200 signatures for my recall in my own neighborhood. This was beyond difficult for me to understand. I have repeatedly through this whole process asked people to meet with me and to have an actual conversation with me instead of just believing things that they heard. Surprisingly, this man took me up on it. He came to my house one evening and he sat on my couch. We talked for over an hour. I listened to him. He listened to me. Things got intense at moments. We actually both cried. At the end of the meeting, we hugged. He still disagreed with me. He still supported the recall. In fact, he put a 4x4 foot sign of my opponent in his front yard. So the little yard sign wasn't enough. But guess what else he did? He wished me happy birthday text a few weeks later. He showed up to the next council meeting and sat on the second row with his normal group, but instead of glaring at me, he raised his hand and waved at me when I walked in the room. In fact, yesterday, he sent me a text wishing me good luck on this presentation, which is why I have a picture, because I said, will you take a picture of me for this presentation? And he asked if he could put his MAGA hat on. Just in case you didn't notice that. Is this love? I don't think we're there yet, but we're on our way. Because in the end, the relationships that we have with people are what matter. Not who's right, not who's wrong, but that we're willing to have the conversation and work together. This is the only way forward for me. One of my very favorite quotes. I just lost my last page. There it is. Wow, that just scared me. I could have done it, but this is one of my very favorite quotes. All this is by Martin Luther King. All this is simply to say that all life is interrelated. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. Strangely enough, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. So how do we do this? We lean in. We recognize the worth of every person that we come in contact with, and that every person is worthy of dignity and respect. This isn't new. The Buddha taught the practice of metta or loving kindness. The Dalai Lama taught that our enemy can be our best teacher. The Quran teaches Muslims to repel evil with what is better. The Torah teaches when your enemy is in trouble, come to his assistance. Even Marcus Aurelius said the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And of course, Jesus taught, love our enemies. Not just our family and friends, not just our neighbors, not just the people that we like, but we are asked to love our enemies. And you might just find out that they were never your enemies to begin with. Can we change the world? I don't know. But we can start in our very own communities. Will you join me? Yeah.
Wow. See, in New York, we don't have a recall provision. So when people say, I'm going to recall you, I say, wait till the next election. Great presentation. I'm Malik Evans, the mayor of Rochester. And shout out to Shea Harris, the vice president of the city council. In the room. I'm going to talk about a program that we started